I said I will try to keep the noise down.
Okay, so welcome to the very first talk, and we started a little late because we had the flag raising opening ceremony just ahead of this, and we're now here for the very first talk in this beautiful auditorium on the very first day of Second Life's 10th birthday community celebrations, and I'm very lucky here to have two of the leading mesh designers and creators, and I'd like to start off by asking both of you to give a little introduction and say a little about what sort of things you do for anyone who doesn't know your work. So Froukje, if I ask you to go first.
I make mostly furniture. I like to build furnished houses, and I build everything inside it, and my furniture is very much directed towards inter-avatar relations.
Yes,
yeah,
you've just given me an ironing board, actually, and I think
we're
one
receiving
can
on the
do
monitor
a
is
lot
so
more
far
than just
behind.
iron with that board.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it's actually the first video I ever did with real cuts, and I'm so proud of it.
Perhaps you could post a link in chat, and then people can go and have a look at it, because it's a great video.
I will do it right now. 1 sec. I will try to keep my microphone down when I'm not talking. Sorry about this.
Okay, no, don't worry. So, can you tell us a little more about this table that we're sitting at? Because this is a gorgeous piece of work, and it has all sorts of possibilities, doesn't it?
I wanted to make a whole dinner. So you start off with having drinks, then the first course, which is tomato soup with basil. Afterwards you go to the main course, and all animations are different. So you never do the same animation as the people you sit with. But you have... Hello there.
Hi. I was thinking she might be the waitress. Come to take our orders.
But it's in sequences, so you can have like half an hour of entertainment with up to 3 friends on this table. And desserts are chocolates.
I got very excited about the prospect of chocolates. You may have noticed I jumped in my seat when you said chocolates. This is lovely. This is just gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm still really pleased with it. It's a fun design.
So all the movements are different, so people could actually spend quite a long time dining, talking, without looking as though they're doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's 10 courses, from soup, main course, espresso, desserts, talking, more wine, a bit more wine, and, well, being totally full. And all this, the courses last about 2-3 minutes, so you really can sit for 30 minutes and have a whole story unfolding.
Oh, that's lovely. And are there any of people getting up and storming off, having had an argument or anything like that?
No, someone is really drunk and falling over. But an argument is a good idea, maybe for a following version.
Yes, okay. Version 2 will have an argument as inspired by Saffia. Okay. So, Cain, perhaps you could tell us a little about what you do, your builds and...
Yeah, I do in some ways the opposite, I guess, of what Froukje does, because I make houses, but they tend not to be furnished. So, I'll have a kitchen of sorts and something in the bathroom, but I don't do the furniture, and certainly not on this exquisite level we're looking at here. I have two brands, actually. I have Maven Homes, and I also have Quantum Luxury Homes, which is a little different from the Maven Homes brand. And it's been, some of the builds are still prim-based, but it's, of course, I'm moving things slowly and surely towards an all-mesh selection.
Okay. And I'd like to ask how you both got into creating in mesh, because you didn't start in mesh. You started with ordinary prim builds, both of you, I think.
Yeah, I started with ordinary prints, and then I wanted to build myself and learned how to make sculpts. And when I saw the possibilities of mesh, I was so excited. It took me weeks of making the first thing, and I know it was a very simple kitchen table. I think I sent it to you as well.
I remember, yes, with that cloth over it. Yes, it was wonderful.
I was so proud. I was so proud back then. But you showed the pictures of how you saw it in a not mesh-enabled viewer, and how it looked. It took quite a long time for mesh to take on with the larger public.
I think the thing that really helped it take off was when the third-party viewers started using mesh, like Firestorm.
And the bloggers. I think the bloggers did an amazing job in making people aware of how beautiful mesh is.
Yes, that's very true. Cain, what about you? How did you start and how did you get into mesh?
Well, I began with ordinary prims too, and actually I had bought a house from somebody, I think it was called Horizontes. He's no longer building in Second Life. I think his name was Alex Lewick or something. And he had made this very nice modern home that I had purchased. And it was mod, so I wasn't happy with one of the rooms. I thought this needs to be a bit bigger. So I went about trying to expand that. And after a bit of back and forth, I was able to do that. And I thought, well, why don't I try doing this on a more commercial level, start a business. And that's how it began. And it was all prims, of course. I did try my hand at Sculpties. I think I installed a version of Blender with this script suite that came with it that you could get for free. And I didn't understand any of it. It was, life's too short. I can't do this. This is horrible user interface. And then I just said, I'll just buy whatever Sculpties I need. But then when Mesh came, Mesh Upload, I had to give it a second try, of course, because I quickly realized that this is the future. And if you're not building in Mesh a couple of years from now, you're going to have a problem. So, then I just started trying to figure out how to do this. And first I added some Mesh components to some of my existing builds, like window frames and the kinds of things you can do really nicely in Mesh without adding too much land impact. And then it kind of developed from there. So now it's all Mesh all the time.
Fantastic.
It was a great time though, because we all learned at the same time and were watching each other's progress and sharing tips. It was really a fun time for us designers.
Would you say that was more true of furniture and house designers, or did that go right across the spectrum and include fashion designers as well?
I don't think there's that much contact between the fashion designers and the home and garden designers. But the home and garden designers, as a group, they're quite close actually, with all the love and drama of a real family.
I think that's a very good way of putting it. And with things like the Home and Garden Expert, you certainly see people talking together and sharing ideas and coming together, which is always fantastic.
It is summer camp for designers. We all go there and live there for 5 days and gossip and share. Yeah, it's great fun.
Yeah, it is. And this year we had great fun with the talks as well, getting a chance to get people together. Cain, I was going to ask you about one thing that features in your houses, which is ducks.
Oh yes.
And
yeah.
I'm delighted to see you tonight without any ducks at all.
Well, I
usually you are accompanied by ducks.
I have one in my inventory. He's watching. He's peeking out, and that would be Boo, my assistant and quality assurance manager. But yeah, there was no room for anything duck tonight, so I had to forego that. But yeah, it has been a theme, hasn't it? Going back to last year when I released what has become known as the duck house, and ever since there's been ducks involved, left and right. It's just become, I don't know, not a trademark, but it's a fun thing and a little quirky and silly. But I do love ducks.
Yeah, someone has just made a remark about my cats eating duck biscuits as a treat. Shh! Don't tell Cain.
That's just wrong on every level.
One thing about mesh, mesh is quite complicated to learn. I've been talking over the last few weeks to several designers who've been in Second Life for a long time, and I thought they might be more mesh resistant. But several of them have actually said how they were longing for mesh to come in, that it was a really important thing that they were waiting for, and that they're really excited about it and about working in it. But one thing that is often raised about mesh is that it takes the creative process outside Second Life. That you, instead of creating in world, you actually create outside and bring things in. How do you both feel about that?
Well, I spent half of my time as two avatars interacting, adjusting poses, and I have to do all of that in world. A large part of the building is still done in world, and you still use regular prims, and you have to put the textures on. And while I am working in Maya, I always have Second Life open in the background. I am used to that, to working in Second Life, and I really like to have things open and to be available to my customers. So it's not the case for me at all.
So maybe you feel that First Life is like your back room, your workshop in the back, where you go and build, and then you come into the store when people need you.
I think I have Second Life open at least 70 hours a week. So.
Right. Yes, I can believe that. You're usually
I'm always here.
Yes. What about you, Cain? How do you feel about creating outside Second Life?
I'm not sure. It's for me the process always begins on. It's a technology. Some of you may remember. It's called pen and paper. And
yes, vaguely.
Yes, and you should try it. It's amazing. The things it can do, it just blows the mind. But that's where it starts for me, and that's true regardless of prims or mesh. And what I then typically do next is I'll have some spaces that I'm not sure about. Are they going to work? Is it going to? Can I walk through this room and it feels right, for example? So I will then create a rough mock-up with prims in World, just to see, does this work? Are these the right dimensions for this? Is a field too big or too small or whatever? And then it's only when I've gone through these things, and the mock-up can be just a single room, or it can be actually the whole build, which I did with one of my latest builds, the log cabin. You may or may not have seen. So it's only when all of that has happened, which is the majority of the most important parts of the creative process. It's only then that I go to Blender and I start start laying out this with some precision, I hope, and start working in Blender. And once you have done the actual modeling and you have the bits and pieces that you need, then you come back in World, and then it's a back and forth, because you have to try to get the textures to look right in World. It may look fantastic in Blender. It may look awesome in Photoshop, and you upload and it doesn't look right at all. So it's a bit of back and forth, and the closer you get to the end, the more time you spend in World. But overall, I don't think I don't feel like I'm disconnected from Second Life while I'm working in Blender. It's all part of a transition, I guess.
Right. So, how do you think that the new things that are about to come in, server-side baking obviously really just affects the physical avatars and system clothes. Remember system clothes? Still wear them occasionally.
Do you?
Don't look at my talks. Please do not.
Quite often, you can stick a pair of system jeans under a mesh jumper because they won't bulge through. Sometimes when you get a mesh jumper, unless you wear the matching trousers from that designer, then the things will stick through. But if you wear system jeans, they just go under.
Or wear a large sweater over a small jeans. Sometimes that works.
Yes. But system
you're right.
jeans work every time.
True.
Okay. So, but what I was going to say was, server-side baking is one thing, but materials are coming in. Do you think that's going to have much of an impact?
I'm sorry, someone is EMing me about my microphone. What was the question?
I was saying, do you think that the new materials are going to have an impact? And I was wondering if one of you would like to explain what materials are, briefly. It
is a way into tricking you into seeing things that are not there. For instance, you have a wall and you have a texture of the stones on the wall. With materials, you can create the illusion that the light bends away from those stones, so you see more detail, more depth. It is as if all those little stones are there, while it's just a flat prim. Do you understand? So it looks like there's detail that there is not, but I don't think the impact is going to be very big, because it is only visible in ultra settings, or for people that can see shadows as well. So you have to have a high-end computer, and it's going to add to the prim count as well.
Yes, I've heard about that they're going to have to start calculating. Already there's been a shift from prims to land impact, and that there's going to have to be another shift to take account of the texture richness of materials, I understand. Is that right?
I hadn't heard that, and not having the details, I'm not going to be too categorical here, but that doesn't sound right, because if you look at a normal texture on a face of a prim, for example, you can use a tiny texture, 64 by 64 pixels, or you can use it in 1024 by 1024. And that's going to have a huge impact on how fast the thing reses and the load it puts on your computer. But the land impact is still going to be the same. So to penalize to add to the land impact because of the fact you've added materials, that doesn't really make any sense to me. But hey, like I said, I don't know the details here, and I hadn't heard about this, so it may well be the case.
I think they were talking more about a difference in the way stuff was calculated rather than. But I'm not sure. We mentioned it briefly in the Designing World show that we did on materials. And that had some wonderful examples of materials. There's a special viewer, if any in the audience are interested, there's a special viewer that you can download from Linden Lab called the Materials Viewer. And then you can go to a sim called Hippotropolis, where Oz Linden has put out some examples of objects with materials that have been created by various Second Life designers. June Dion, for example, has got a katana there, which has the most, and you can see the effects of light playing across it and how it has real depth. It's very interesting. I was going to ask you both. Do you use the marketplace for selling your goods, or do you think it's better to use the store?
I love marketplace. It's good for at least 2/3 of my sales, and I work really hard on my pictures, on the way I describe things. I do all my shopping on the internet. I order in real life my dresses, yes. my food. So why would I not do that in Second Life? It's an extra service to my customers. And, I think especially if you're a trusted brand, people love to buy through marketplace.
Right, but don't you find that people actually want to go and try out your furniture and the animations? I mean, the animations are so important for your things, and yet you can't see them on the marketplace.
I make pretty sure people see my animations. I do at least 8 pictures with everything I put on there of different animations. I do videos. But I will always have the store where they can try it out, and they look at my stuff on the marketplace, then TP in World to my store. I don't think marketplace will kill Second Life stores. Furniture stores will always need it, and for big brands it is a way to show your style and to entertain. And people need lands to put my furniture in. So I have a feeling it has it is a way Linen Lab must get less tire in these days. We all know there has been a decline in land, but there has been a huge increase in sales over the marketplace, and they take a percentage of each sale.
Yes, rather than taking tier, so they win both ways.
I think it must replace a large part of the loss of land income.
So you have to wonder where people are putting all this furniture they're getting if the land is declining. But I don't think it's declining that much. People are still buying houses, thank heavens.
Yeah, I really don't see the harm in the marketplace. I think it's a wonderful tool, and I love shopping on it myself. So, yeah, I do understand my customers.
What about you, Cain? Do you sell much on the marketplace?
Well, it's more now than before. I mean, I've seen a shift over the last, I want to say year maybe. I used to sell almost nothing on Marketplace, but now it is, I haven't tracked it, but I would say about a third maybe of my sales. And interestingly, if I look at the times that I get sales on Marketplace, I'd say Europe probably more than the US, for example.
Really?
Tends, yeah.
Because for me it's the other way around.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's because we are on opposite continents. I don't know. No, but that's been a trend, and yeah, very much. The Times indicates more European sales, so it may also have something to do with the fact that I have improved on some of the pictures I put up, because about a year ago most of them were really horrible, and they're still not great, but I think having good pictures on Marketplace really helps, because it is a bit of a catalog that people leaf through and search through and trying to find something that catches the eye. So, having good pictures that are not so good that they don't actually reflect the product.
Yes.
Which I have seen some examples of, especially maybe in the low end, price-wise. Really helps. But at least with houses, people do typically want to go and have a look and, click the doors and look out the windows and see that this isn't as horrible as it might be. So the majority of my sales still are in-world, but I do see Marketplace as a marketing tool more than a sales channel still.
That brings me to the question of marketing. How much time do you both need to put into marketing, and how easy or how difficult do you feel it is to sell somewhere like Second Life?
It depends on what you all include in market. Hey, Max is here.
Ah.
Hey, Max.
Hi, Max. You're late for dinner.
If you see it as broadly as possible, it is being on Plurk and talking with your customers and the bloggers. It is keeping good relationship with bloggers, sending them things, watching the feeds. I'd say it takes a lot of time. It is constantly bringing out new things so people keep seeing your store and keep coming back. I don't know how to say that in hours, but it takes a lot of time.
Yeah,
what
it
about
does.
You, Cain? Would you agree?
Yeah, although I haven't been, I'm not very good at marketing in the sense that Froukje is talking about. Partly because I'm slow. It takes me a long time to create a new build, so I don't have the capacity or the ability to always or often put out something new, which would keep people in, keep my brand in people's the forefront of their mind. So that is probably that's a problem that is specific, I guess, to my industry. But I certainly could do a better job of it. But I also think that one of the problems with Second Life is we don't have an effective in-world marketing channel. I mean, you have notices. When I log on, I see 100 notices in the top right corner. Am I going to read all of them? No.
No, you're not. No one is.
I'm not.
That is a problem, yeah.
Yeah, and you have classifieds. Never worked for me, so.
They do for me, but. Yeah.
They do? Yeah, no.
I'm first in the. If you search for furniture, I'm the first.
Yeah. And you think classifieds did that, or did it just your name recognition?
I think when I came into Second Life, that is the way I found things first. So that is the way I get the newest, the youngest people in. The notices through the groups is the second one. I don't think much of those. You have What's New SL or all those groups targeted towards consumers. I think everyone clicks those away. But my own subscribers, I have a subscriber that keeps checking if someone is online before it sends them the note card. So I think I have a much higher percentage of reaching than others. Yeah.
Yes.
And it sends a message, hi, does she send you some news? And so I can give you the name of the system. It's really working well for me.
I use it for my Christmas cards. I sent my Christmas card out, and it was quite interesting to see how many people who were on my Christmas card list clearly no longer log in, which is really sad, but that's how it goes.
But how does this work, though? Because they changed the the script function that lets you check whether somebody's online.
I think they wanted to, but they didn't because we all protested. Something like that.
Yeah.
Really, I thought they had made that change so that you can't, if people don't set themselves as visible online, the script can't determine.
Oh, maybe that may be possible, but it's okay. That's maybe.
Yeah, so if they set themselves to not be visible except to friends, for example, then your script won't see them, and so that's why people don't get your
but that is
Christmas
still
cards, Saffia.
reaching a lot more people than when you send notices to those that are not online.
Well, true.
I think.
But I think
I will look up the name and put it in the chat. One second.
All right, thanks. But I do think we need an improved marketing channel. I think that would be a great boon to everybody, creators and customers, and Second Life or Linden Lab.
How would you see that being done? Because, one of the problems I have with a magazine and a TV show is actually getting the word out to get people to watch and to read. And the same, I think, is true of blogs. They only reach a kind of limited. It's almost as though one would need an in-world system, but I'm not sure how that in-world system would work.
I have one more way of reaching people, and that is I send a few clubs furniture. clubs that I find fit my style, and that is a wonderful way of getting people to see your things, to try them out. And if they try it at a club like the Chamber, and they get their own home, they want that furniture because they have tried it there, and I know how good it is.
Right.
So sponsoring clubs is a really good way to get your name out there as well.
Fantastic. But that wouldn't probably work for everything. I mean, it works if you have the right sort, like this bistro table could be put out in a club, but there's...
Well, we have a problem. People, if you have a no-mesh dress that looks fabulous, you wear it and you tell everyone who made it, but you don't wear your latest adult bed on your back.
No.
You don't tell... Yeah, it's not something you tell people about unless... So, for me personally, the clubs work really well.
That is, yes. What about you, Cain? What sort of ideas do you have about this idea of a marketing channel?
Well, there's a big difference between real life and Second Life, in that in real life you get the newspaper and you have your TV, and just by virtue of having those two media channels, stuff comes to you, the information comes to you through ads and promotions or marketing. In Second Life, though, there is no such thing as a global daily media feed. So you have to go and subscribe to all these groups, and you have to find out about these things. And there's no central place where you can find out, where you can get that kind of marketing messages. In the real world, you know what the name of the newspaper is, the local newspaper, and you just subscribe to it, and you're done. And you know what your TV channels you have, and you turn your TV on and you watch, and you get all this sent to you. In Second Life, though, you have to go and chase the marketing as a customer. You have to go and find these things actively. So for this to work, I think if we had kind of a built-in marketing channel that would kind of not like the destination guide, but that's an example of pushed content, right? Information that comes to you, without you having to go and seek it out. So if you had a mechanism like that, you could say to merchants that you can subscribe to this for X million dollars a month, and then you can send out your ads, whatever, your messaging, in say a number of categories.
With what someone in the public just said, the bloggers do get your message out. They are read by thousands of people, and especially if you get your stuff on the feeds, like feeds.sl, which is my personal favorite, it brings a lot of people in, and a lot of bloggers are very active in the community. They have clubs. They talk to other people. So if you establish a relationship with them and send them stuff from time to time and let them know you read them, you can do they can do wonderful things for you. I'm sorry, I'm struggling with a cat right now who is claiming territory on my keyboard. He's very scary.
Everyone seems to have the cat problem.
Okay.
No, I think you're absolutely right about the bloggers. I do think that is, when done right, if you can send them information on a regular basis, I think that's a good channel. But not everybody reads blogs, though. I mean, some of the people who buy my houses, I can't imagine that they are blog readers much. And
something like Avenue Magazine or Best of SL in World Magazine?
Print Perfect.
Print Perfect. I'm sorry, Saffia.
Yes.
Well, I do them all. That's the thing about advertisement. you never really know what works, so you do everything, right? I do, at least.
I have someone who advertises with us who sells castles, and he says that the week that Prim Perfect goes out, his sales go up by, not very much, by 2 or 3 castles, but that makes all the difference to him.
I advertise in Prim Perfect as well, and I'm very pleased. But I don't know if I can't say if that is so, because I have a lot of channels on which I advertise.
He just advertises with us, so he says.
Yeah, then it must be really noticeable. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's a related problem though, because it's hard to track what works and what doesn't, and that is somewhat easier, at least in the real world. But to actually know which of your marketing Linden dollars had an effect is not easy in here.
No, it's also. I mean, you will occasionally have the person who sees an ad in a magazine and goes, "Ooh, that looks good, I'll go and buy it now." But an awful lot of advertising is more about establishing a brand identity, so that when people see your name in another context, or they're looking on Marketplace and they think, "Oh yes, that was in such a magazine," and there's a kind of familiarity there already. You know, there's things I see in fashion magazines that I will think, "Oh yes, I've seen them around. They advertise. They must be worth having a look at. I'm standing outside their store and they had a nice ad." That sort of thing. But it's hellishly hard to quantify that kind of thing and how effective it is.
The best thing is still mouth to mouth.
Word of mouth.
Yeah, that's what. It's a tough word for me, mouth. But that's still people hear from their friends, or they see a table at a friend's house and say, "Wow, where did you get that?" It is really hard to reach your target in Second Life, and Marketplace helps because you can advertise on the first page and just try it all. And if you want to start a business, yeah.
Okay. Well, we've been talking. We've been lucky. There's no one after us, so we can go on a bit longer. I was going to say. I was going to ask you, what do you think is going to change? This is Second Life's 10th birthday, and we can see an awful lot about the distance we've come. We are sitting here, and we are not worried that our hair will suddenly end up in our derrieres, along with our earrings. In spite of the fact it's quite laggy and crashy, the animations seem to be running really smoothly. And we're wearing mesh. So all of this has kind of come out from where we were once. What do you think are going to be the key developments over the next, I'm not going to say 10 years, I think 10 years is too hard to see, but say over the next 2 years, what do you think are going to be the key changes?
What would really change things is if you could project your own facial expressions onto your avatar. That would be amazing. It would make everything so much more realistic, and like with the Wii, you call it, that your own movements will be done by the avatar. I think those things would change everything. All animations would not be necessary anymore. Everything would look much more natural. And I think those developments are not that far away even. Yes, it comes from Snow Crash.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was stored up there, so it will happen.
So, Cain, what about you? What do you think is going to happen?
I wish I knew, and then I would start marketing to it right now. No, I think it's well. First of all, I think a lot of people are going to have to buy new computers, or they're going to anyway. Not necessarily because of Second Life, but because they just need new gear, and that is going to improve the experience for a lot of people. It's going to make the lag problem, or some of the reasons for lag, less noticeable. So I think as the user base comes in with better equipment, that is going to make the experience nicer for everybody. And I think, by and large, we're going to see a nicer, a prettier Second Life. There's going to be mesh and materials, there are going to be drivers in this. And I think that is going to help people with the immersion to get the sense of really being in this space. And that, of course, helps retain people and makes them want to come back. I hope, I don't know if this is going to happen, but I hope the lab is planning on doing something to make it easier to get started, because even now, after 10 years, putting on shoes is a multi-step process. It's not easy. When you're a newbie and you come in here and you want to put on new shoes, good luck. I mean, I was so disgusted. I walked barefoot for 2 weeks after I first logged on. But that has to become easier. You have to establish a system where you go in and you can do the basic things easily, and maybe have some kind of incentive that inspires you to go learn something. You know, pay people one linden the first time they manage to walk or change their shoes or whatever. And I'm also hoping for a better marketing system, a channel, although I'm not holding my breath on that one, but that would be awesome.
It would indeed.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to, before we finish, I'm going to throw this open to the audience.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello there.
I couldn't hear you, so I sat here.
Hi.
Hope you don't mind. I'm an uninvited dinner guest.
Well, we're just finishing conversation here, so I would be grateful if you could leave, please. Thank you. Okay. So, have we got any questions from the audience? I may not be able to hear everyone. Some people may be out of typing distance. So if people on the front row could, Sam, if you could pass on questions.
Or shout.
Or shout, yes. Pet says, will it be possible to make shoes easier to put on? And Carehop has said, do either of you create tutorials on optimizing mesh into Second Life? And
I have no time. I work 70 hours a week. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
But it's I know it wouldn't be nice if we did tutorials, but there are very good ones on mesh.
Yes. I was going to say that in Primperfect magazine, Beck Janus, one of our writers, has been doing a really interesting series on how to create in mesh. And we've actually been giving away free mesh objects with the magazine for people to experiment with and to practice her techniques on.
I have pasted 2 links in open chat. Wait, I whispered. Sorry about it. For tutorials.
Right, but also Prim Perfect. Okay, now.
And also in Prim Perfect.
And also in Prim Perfect. Yes, do keep reading. Let's go with Schneelock's question, which is, why did you both decide to create a business in Second Life? What made you decide to create a business?
I had a home. Within 2 weeks after I came to Second Life, I had a home. And I started decorating. And everything was either high prim or it was ugly. And I wanted to make low prim things that were really beautiful and that had great animations. I have a passion for great animations. So when I could not find what I wanted, I started making it. And the next step was selling it. And it went really well. And it went really well. And now I'm here.
Can I just ask, do you buy in animations or do you make your own?
I seldomly make them because I don't like doing it and I'm not very good at it. Sometimes I do when I need something. But there are great animators in Second Life, like Silva from Silva's animations, Sintoshi, Ministry of Motions. They have all great full perm animations that you can use as an animator.
So, Cain, what about you? What made you decide to start a business?
Greed. Naked greed.
Pure and simple.
Yeah. No, it was, like I said, I had this house that I had bought from somebody, and I wanted to change it. And when I saw that I could, then I said, okay, let's see if we can actually build a house. And I still have my first build, and it's ugly. It's very ugly. But
do you take it out and look at it from time to time?
I did a couple of months ago, and I had to laugh because it has all the nimble grace and airy spaces of a German bunker.
A German bunker?
So it's it's I'm glad I'm not doing that kind of work anymore. But that was that was the starting gun, so to speak.
Right. Another question. Do you think Linton Lab will add any other materials other than specular and normal mapping?
I have no clue as to what the Linden Gods will do next. I don't know.
No, who knows? But what I would really like is to get a second diffuse layer. Because the way it used to be, you put a texture on a prim, and you could set it to repeat endlessly in all directions. That doesn't work if you bake shading and shadows into the texture. Then you need one texture per face or wall to make it look right. And so you get many more textures, and you don't get necessarily the resolution you want. It won't be as crisp as it would be if you could take a single texture and repeat that. So the fix to this would be to be able to do the old style repeats of your base texture, and then you can overlay exactly, Max. You could overlay a second diffuse map, which would be then typically your shading, and that doesn't have to be a big texture. It can be much lower size, smaller size than what you have to do now. So if you had that, and if you could then add some normal maps to give the illusion of detail and a three-dimensional shape, plus the spec maps. Yeah, you would be able to do some really nice things, and it would help lag, it would help downloads and resing speeds. It would be so fantastic. But Yeah, I'm not holding my breath.
Okay. Well, unless there are... Oh, does anyone canvass customers to see what they want and they're willing to spend their lindens on?
What does canvas mean?
Do you do things like polls or, maybe offer them a free gift if they tell you what they like, that sort of thing?
I just talk to them. I'm very approachable. I'm usually on my sim, and they mail me tips. Like perhaps you could make a copper bath, or they want a recliner chair now. I get several requests for a recliner chair. I think it's
like
men's
a lazy
thing.
boy.
Yeah, it's all men that ask for it. I had to look it up. Yeah, no. SL customers are really verbal in letting you know what they want and what they don't want. And
I think the lab feels that too.
Yeah, I bet.
I actually did a small canvas, a survey, a month ago or so. I sometimes, if I think that one of my builds is okay as far as the architecture, but I feel that the execution could be brought into this millennium, then I will, upgrade, retexture, tweak the build. And there's one that I had that I really like, but I don't. So then I said to my group, 5K to the person who comes up with the best list of ideas for what to do to this thing to make it more better. And I got a lot of responses, and some just wanted me to make something else altogether. But some had really great input and said, this is what you should focus on. This is what needs to change. To this, to that, and as soon as I find some time, I'm going to do exactly that. But that was better than expected in terms of the quality of the responses.
That's interesting. That's very good. Yeah, helpful. Okay, so unless there are any more questions, does anyone else have a question? Okay, I'm going to thank Froukje and Cain for coming here today. It's been brilliant and very illuminating to talk to you both. It always is. And it was lovely to see you. We are going to have another talk with mesh designers at the end of the week. And Maxwell Graf, who I'm afraid we scramble the time for him today, but hopefully he will be joining us next Sunday at 1 p.m. and I hope that Cain and Froukje will be back to discuss other issues as well.
Anytime.
Of course.
You better remind me, though. You know how
I will remind you. Yes. Well, I think Sam is organising. Sam is my cat herder for this.
Okay.
And I'm sure she will. Okay, thank you, everyone. I will say that there is another talk at 4 o'clock today. I'm going to be talking to Todium Nakamura and Flea Bussey of Grendel's, who have created the amazing turtle stage here. And they're going to be talking about that. They're going to be talking about Grendel's. And if I know Toadie and Flea, there will be something of a show and tell too.
Okay, thank you very much for having us. It was fun, as always. And your dress is fabulous.
Thank you. So is yours. Absolutely gorgeous. And Cain, thank you for humouring us and putting on a tuxedo.
Yes, thank you, Cain.
No problem. Go to go shopping for a new one. This is embarrassing.
Did Max get the tuxedo message, I wonder?
I didn't.
Okay, folks. Well, I think
He is not wearing
Skype is still on.
I didn't get the time change or the tuxedo message.
I'll be there.
I have about 7 of them, but... Yeah,
great footage that. So it's great staying with it for that
Sunday.
program.
We'll have to do it all again on Sunday.
So, as they say, another event at 4, and there's going to be events happening all throughout the week, really. So, not sure whether I am actually live or not here, as this is fading out, so to speak. I'm now going to switch Week in Review back to our normal playlist. We're going to show, I'm queuing a quick show. Oh yes, I'm live apparently, so that's all very good. I'm going to go straight into some of the playlists we have here at the channel. All of them are clips to do with SL10B, believe it or not. And for those of you watching live, we're going to adjust things a little bit for the replay on the channel today. Basically, the in-world review will finish on the replay, and then we'll be actually showing the sort of clips that were scheduled for the playlist. And maybe we'll do a bit of editing of this talk, and it would be lovely. I don't know how we're situated as yet, but it'd be lovely if we can bring you some more talks as the week progresses, maybe even from the very stage you're seeing now, because Emo has actually switched his camera back to our wonderful build. But as I say, it is down to lag and all sorts of other things. But I'm really pleased we held up for Saffia's first talk there. Anyway, I'm going to ask both our cameras to quite literally cut so that I'm free to cue something in the studio, and we'll be seeing you later. So happy birthday, Second Life, and happy birthday from us at Second Life, and it's back to the studio for now.